What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. A few days ago on one of the Facebook groups that I belong to, a friend of mine posted the question, from your collection, what one knife would you grab if you had to grab just one? And that got me thinking, what would I do? Now, there are a lot of choices. I have 100 or so folders. I've got fixed blades. Now, my first instinct was to get fixed blade, but maybe that's not the right choice. Maybe it is, but I decided to look at my folders and figure out what one knife I would grab if I could only grab one and had to grab my bailout bag and take off because the shit had finally hit the fan. What would that be? Well, I grabbed a selection of knives that I thought of immediately, and the one that I've chosen in the end is actually not up on the table yet, but let's look at the ones that I'm not going to take and talk about why real quick. We'll start at the absolute budget end. This, and this is going to get its own review, is the Knives Toucans. I don't know why it's toucans. I don't know why it's plural. I do know that it is G10. It is D2 steel. It is nice, thick D2 steel. It is comfortable in hand. It's a great knife. And at $30 or so, you can't beat it for just having an everyday beater knife around. But I'm not going to put my long-term life in the hands of D2 out in the field. It's great steel, but it's not that rust resistant. And, we can do better than this. I will be reviewing this shortly. Then I leaned into some of my more expensive knives. And of course, the Chavez here, this Ultimar T29, is so good. But do I really want all titanium? Do I want bearings? Do I want something this fancy that I'm going to have to count on in a shit has hit the fan moment? No, I'm just not. This is a great knife, but not the knife. I then leaned into some of my harder use stuff. And I thought, well, I've got this kick-ass Benchmade, the Valais, and this is a great knife. I mean, it is. It's from their Black Series. It's designed for hard use. It's got a great blade shape. But looking at it more carefully, some of the features that I love about it so much for its own uses make it out of the question. One, the axis lock is a great lock, but they're hard to maintain should something go wrong with the springs. And this one, with the hidden pivots, means that if it starts to go loose on me, I have to take the whole knife apart to repair it. That means that for an oh shit moment, at least one where I'm not going to have access to other knives or my tools maybe, this, unfortunately, has got to go. Then I went a little ridiculous. I thought, well, maybe the Proponent by Artisan. I mean, this thing is a beast. This hole right here is actually threaded. It comes with a threaded rod that you can put in there and essentially turn this into a fixed blade. It's a beast. But again, it's on bearings, and with no belly on that blade, that really is the reason I'm getting rid of it. With no belly, you're kind of limited to what you can do with this. Everyday carry for a giant knife, this is a ton of fun, and there's a review coming on this too. But not for that, oh shit, I need one knife and I gotta go moment. What about an auto? This is a spectacular knife. It's got nice good belly on the blade. The 154 cm steel is going to hold up. It's even coated. But autos can be finicky. And I don't want to rely, again, on a spring mechanism for my one and only knife, because if that spring goes, you're done. Now, this knife good for, grabbing in a hurry for almost any purpose? Absolutely. This is a great knife. But it's not the knife. I grabbed an old friend, a true old friend. Now, this ZT-0350 is phenomenal. The S30V steel is well done. I've put VZ grips on it and a deep carry clip to make it more EDC, useful and to get a better grip on it. I love this thing. But we're back to that spring. Now, I know that you can de-assist these and they will work just fine, but for the conversation, I don't want to know that a knife's going to work okay when it's broken. I want a knife that's not going to break. Now that led me to another real favorite. This is the 0562. This is actually the standard version, an S35 VN, that I have put a carbon fiber scale on. I love this knife. This Hinderer design is wonderful. The blade with the Hinderer slicer grind is totally useful and totally valuable. But I got to thinking, honestly, of the knives that I've shown so far, this is probably the one that I would grab. It's not assisted. It is on bearings, but you know, it's such a good knife and so useful in its shape and size and design. But I thought, nope, again, those bearings, they put it out of the running. So then I leaned into some of my cold steel knives, and the first one I grabbed was this, the Andrew Demko designed AT15. Now this is a great knife. Got a big chunk of S35 VN steel. It's running on washers that are easy to maintain and keep clean. It's got this phenomenal scorpion lock system that is smooth and easy to use. But I started, but I started thinking about that scorpion lock. You know, what if I'm using this thing to process firewood? What if I'm, well, there's a lot of uses. What if I need to do fine work? It is a flat ground blade. Is that going to do what I need? So I started thinking about their traditional triad locks. And that brought me, believe it or not, to my Code 4. This is a great knife. It's S35 VN, it's hollow ground, it's light, it's got a phenomenal triad lock, it's not going anywhere, it's good in the kitchen, it's good in the field, but you know, I think it's a little small. So while this is a knife that I would grab if I needed to go in a hurry for any number of reasons, it's not the knife that I would grab. No, that is in fact a cold steel, and that's this. The first gen AD10. This Andrew Demko design, I've done a review on this already, but man, this is the knife that I would grab. The S35 VN is hollow ground. The new ones are not. This one is, and I'm never going to get rid of it for that reason, which means this knife is excellent for fine and even detailed cuts. It's great in the kitchen. I know, I've used it there. The handle is comfortable and durable. It's running on washers, which means it's easy to keep clean and easy to maintain. The back lock is nearly indestructible. And on other people's channels, I have seen people hammer this thing into wood. They've batoned it. I'd rather never have to do that, but you can. It's just sort of the perfect knife for that shit hits the fan moment, grab one knife and go. In the end, this is my choice. I love this thing. Well, what do you guys think? That's my choice. Now, mind you, I have fixed blades that I would probably grab before this, but I decided to lean into the folding knife because that tends to be what I collect. So down in the comments, you tell me, what one folding knife out of your collection, if you could just grab one, would you grab and go, knowing that you weren't going to be able to come back for the rest of your knives? Again, the AD10 is my choice for the reasons I've described. I think that in the end, this is a perfect go bag, utility, / kitchen, / EDC, / outdoor, / you name it, folding knife. I love this thing. So again, what would you grab? Share with me down in the comments. Thanks for watching today. If you have any questions about this or any of the knives that I've shown off today, feel free to ask me down again in the comments. I'll be happy to talk to you about it. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.